Welcome back to Afternoon Live. There is a live look outside on the Oregon coast in Lincoln City from our In It Spanish Head Resort Hotel camera. Thanks for joining us today. Each year, the men and women at the Cape Disappointment Coast Guard Station respond to hundreds of heart-stopping rescue missions. Our next guest is one of those heroes. He's put some of these stories of survival in his new book, Life and Death at Cape Disappointment, Becoming a Surfman on the Columbia River Bar. We welcome Chris D'Amelio. Great to see you, Chris. Thanks for spending some time with us today.
Thank you for having me.
So tell me about what a surfman does, because I think a lot of people aren't aware of this elite squad on the Coast Guard.
Yeah, most people in the general public don't know anything about us. Basically, expert boat drivers in the most extreme conditions on the planet, up and down the Oregon coast, just running search and rescue cases for commercial fisheries, recreational fishermen, anybody that enjoys using the ocean.
And a lot of us here in the Pacific Northwest, we grow up hearing about how dangerous the ocean can be. Water safety is so important, but that specific stretch along the Columbia River Bar, that's one of the most dangerous places in the country.
Absolutely. It's a raw place. It's unforgiving for sure.
And tell me about why you wanted to write this book. I heard that you wanted to document some of your incredible stories for your kids.
Yeah, it's a rare, unique job. And while I was running search and rescue cases, my kids were young, so I actually did it as a legacy project. Wasn't really thinking about having a book published. Wrote a few chapters, had a couple people look at it, and they were like, hey, you should probably look at getting this published. So I sent it out to a few literary agencies. And Lions Press published it fairly quickly. It wasn't a goal to be published. It was really for my kids to kind of show them what I used to do, because they really had no idea.
Yeah, that's really special. I mean, they probably think their dad is Superman now after learning about this a little bit later on in life. I know that you've been a part of hundreds of these search and rescue missions, and there are just a few that you focus on in the book. Are there any that really stick out in your mind?
You know, there are a few. I would say that the first surf case that I had, the Pacific Sun case, it was in the middle, really early in the morning. It's dark. It was blowing 60 miles an hour, anywhere 25 to 35 feet on the Columbia River, breaking all the way across. He was about 20 miles offshore, disabled. The thing that sticks out the most for me was trying to cross the Columbia River. It took us almost 3 hours to go just less than 8 miles.
Wow.
So it was hitting 30-foot waves, going 100 yards back, 100 yards forward, just inching our way out there. It was like a 3-hour-long beating until we finally got to him. And then once we got to him, we escorted him back. But that one kind of sticks out because it was really the first one.
Okay. What is it, do you think, inside you and your colleagues that draws you to this really dangerous, high-stakes job?
Adrenaline. It's exciting. It's a roller coaster. There's lots of ups. There's lots of downs. There's good and bad with search and rescue. But getting to drive in those conditions, I mean, it's nerve-wracking. Don't get me wrong, but it's a blast. It's kind of like living off adrenaline. It's just super fun. It's not for the faint of heart. You got to love the ocean. You got to understand the ocean, and it takes a lot of training and a lot of years of experience just to get qualified.
Right. You have to be qualified to even enter the training to become a surfman. What is life like for you now after all that excitement? Are you retired from the Coast Guard these days?
I am. I retired in March of 2016. I miss the surf stations. I was in Umpqua River, Siuslaw River, and Cape D. I miss those places. I loved it. I had the time of my life out there.
It's just gorgeous. I mean, I know what you're talking about. It's unmatched, the beauty out here. What's it like?
Yeah.
You mentioned your kids were young at the time that you experienced a lot of these things. What's it like for spouses and family members knowing that you and all your Coast Guard colleagues are going out in these really dangerous conditions, really nonstop?
Yeah, it's hard. I didn't bring work home. It was kind of like a switch. So my wife didn't fully understand what we did. I mean, it took a while. She hates the ocean, which is odd. Um, so, it almost took writing the book for her to realize what we used to do. I mean, she would hear us talk and tell stories and stuff, but I don't think she understood the magnitude of what we were doing.
She was probably glad looking back that she didn't really know how bad it was.
Correct. 100%.
Hey, thank you so much for spending some time with us today. Congratulations on the book.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course, we'll have more information about the book. It is Life and Death at Cape Disappointment. We'll have that on our website at KATU.com. And we'll be right back with more Afternoon Live right after this.